Hello guys, I'm Madeline, welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna discuss something that's like, let's say, an extra for the robot. Let's say you wanna use this model with the same textures into another program. Even if it's talking about Unreal Engine, Unity, maybe other 3D software like Cinema 4D, 3D Studio Max. You're gonna need to bake the textures so you can afterwards put them together in the other software, because by now the whole software on the whole material, it's something like that. So it's complex, but it's understood only by Blender. If you're moving to another software, there is another language, maybe it's still going to work with nodes, but they're different. There's a different language, and that's where this add-on comes into place. Let me bring it here. So the add-on that we are gonna use, it's named Principled Baker. I'm gonna leave a link down into the description. So you just take the zip file and install it to Blender. But there is an important fact with complex shaders. As you can see also here, some results for complex mixed shaders Node 3 might not be useful. So that's where I got like into some kind of problems, because it was supposed to be a fast tutorial and everything, and I was preparing the whole scene, and I got some pretty bad result with the color output. Like the dirt was everywhere, so the color wasn't exactly what it was supposed to be, like that. And that's where I got something to do. Of course, the add-on it's right here. So you have Principled BSDF, you just enable it, and that's all. Now for the add-on to work, it's best to set it into CPU. It works with cycles. And if you are going to the shading properties in the right panel, you can see it here. You have an option for auto detect. It's gonna automatically detect every input. So we have an ambient occlusion, some color, roughness, clear coat data, and metallic data. Now it's pretty good, because it's a big problem with native Blender baking, as the metalness map, it's somehow hard to be baked. You have to use an emitter or something like that to show up the metallic map. But let's say we are in this case where the metallic map, it's a little bit harder, because we cannot just take the only metallic part. It's just this part, and you don't want to get this kind of a map, because it's gonna render the whole object metallic. So you need only on these areas where the paint it's scratched away, the metallic part. So that's where this add-on, it's pretty good at baking the metallic map. Of course, I disabled the color output. I have metallic, roughness, and normal checked, and also the clear coat and clear coat roughness checked. Now down here you can check diffuse, and also I checked just in case bump map to use it together with the normal map. And for the diffuse map, you keep only the color information to be baked. You don't want direct and indirect, as this is gonna be influenced by the lighting of the scene, so it's not totally accurate for a albedo map, only for the color data. Now you go here into output settings. You of course choose a destination for the texture to get the output, the necessary output. You can choose the resolutions, and also the format. We have here the formats PNG, BMP, JPEG, TIFF, a lot of things. And you can set the compression, how many bits, the sample rate. Also, you can set the sample rate from here. I've chosen 256. You can go for 128. Keep that in mind. It's gonna look pretty bad if you're going down into samples, so you cannot put like 2 samples or 1 sample for the maps, especially when they are 2K. You are expecting some kind of quality into the image. You have the margin, which is like the overdraw out of the lines of the UV. And after you have chosen everything, you can just go for bake. Of course, the model has to be UV unwrapped. That's the unwrapping. So after you unwrapped the model, you can go to do every single thing, and that's the output. Let's see the node here. So that's my bad boy. Everything is now in one single principal BSDF node. So we have the normal data, clear coat, roughness, metallic. And they are all here. Let's take a look at them. So these are the maps which I got out. That's the clear coat. Of course, very useful because it has to be black where I have only the metallic parts. It's not a paint. The roughness of the clear coat, it's just subtle. You cannot see it too much. That's the color output. That's very good. That's perfect. But this one is the diffuse map, which you can do it by just hitting bake in the classic baker of the blender. So for this one you are gonna need some more samples. And that's the metallic map. So of course the white areas means 100% metallic, and the black areas are non-metallic. So that's pretty good. That's what you are expecting to get out of the baker. The normal map, I have here the roughness. That's a good map. You can get it out of Blender also. And it's taking some times for the baking. I guess for me it took like 2 hours for every single map. It's a 2K texture for every single one, so keep that in mind how you are going with the samples. Of course, maybe if I'm going for every single part, I'm gonna go with lower samples, and for some smaller parts, maybe I'm going with a smaller size for the texture. Like if I do only, let's say, this finger, I don't really need a 2K texture, so I can go smaller, because if I go with let's say 4K for every single part, even if they are smaller parts, that's gonna be ineffective, and it's gonna cost me a lot of GPU memory. So of course, after you have set it everything and you have the CPU, the GPU, the CPU, you are pretty good to go to hit bake. Now you have the settings for combined, single batch, and it can bake every object that you want. You can select multiple objects, and also you can check here in the new material if you want to create a new material based of the bake that was made. Automatically you can check it, or add new material. Any other settings here you can change them. They are pretty straightforward. Like here you have the suffix of the maps. If you want to change them, you just click them and change the naming however you want. So hopefully the tutorial was helpful for you, you learned something new, you enjoyed the tutorial, please leave a like, subscribe and comment if you have any questions. That was the tutorial. Bye.